All right, member section, here we go for match week 16. You guys, this was a real bitch of a card to handicap. I had to pull out spotter cutter in many situations. So be careful with the plays. I've got some good angles on some of this stuff, but like some of these plays are like, it's a tight card. I like the official plays from the podcast. I think those are good plays. I love actually the two plays we have official. I kind of like the personal play, and I'm going to do another personal play on this podcast on a Sunday game. But we'll start with Burnley and Watford, and this one was a hard one. And Burnley's at 158, so they're slight favorite at home. We have them projected at minus 111, but I'm not going to make it that easy for myself. It would be pretty easy to just be like, oh, well, we have the 14% advantage. I'm going to go with Burnley. These two teams are really both two teams that I like. And if we look at the difference and they're really close in overvalued, undervalued, 14% for Burnley, 10% undervalued. They both returned a lot of money. Burnley at 169% of your investment, Watford at 64%. And it's such a tight game. It's 26 difference, and I don't know. I like both the teams, so it's really hard to just say, well, I'm going to go with that Burnley on that. And 538 kind of likes Burnley too. Bing doesn't. Bing likes Watford better. So it was a challenge. So what I did is I put it in spotter cutter, and spotter cutter. Let's bring this up here. I did it for the away team, so kind of reversed it. I do it for home team almost. I don't know why I did it like this, but to confuse myself. But no, I'm not confused. I did the odds for see how I'm confused? No, the odds for Watford to get close to they're 32%, so it's like 30.5%. You can see they're 32%, and then the difference was like minus 20. There's 26 for Burnley, so it's minus 29 for Watford, and it really came up with a pretty good amount of games, 209 games, and it's showing good utility on the draw. So, and I like this. I mean, I think that we're sliding to the under on this game. The odds, well, we're not with the odds. Well, the odds makers are saying it's going to go under at minus 147. We kind of like it half and half actually, but the situational, we got a big sample size. The draws returned 36 units from 209 games, 17.1 ROI. So that's how I'm going to play this game. And we're going to go with the draw. Burnley, Watford, draw plus 224. And we will take a look at the next game now. Crystal Palace and Bournemouth. So this was another one that was like, well, we really don't have. We have a little bit of utility with Bournemouth on our model, and my initial inclination was to go with them. G6 likes Bournemouth, but Bing likes. Well, they don't like really anything. I don't know what they like. They like to draw, and I don't know. 538 likes Bournemouth a little bit. So the thought was to go with Bournemouth, and then I did some spot cutter stuff, and it just didn't work out that way. So I'm like, well, what can we do with this? One of the things we are leaning toward the under. The odds makers are too, but we're gonna play a little trick on the odds makers here. We're gonna go with the alternative under, and we're gonna go with under 2 plus 162, and I'll show you why. Okay, so this basically was gave us 160 games, home team, and difference is about minus 26, and I think that's probably what it is right now. Well, it's minus 19, so that's pretty close. And then the odds between 0.45 and 0.55, so it's about what the odds are. The team is pre-match odds 104, and if you look at this model, it's 106. So very close parameters. And what we found in this is that the under 2, if you take out all the pushes, it goes under 48% of the time. Should be priced up at 109. And we're getting on the under 2, we're getting plus 162. All right, that's a hell of a value there. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go Crystal Palace AFC Bournemouth under 2 plus 162. Okay, this next game, Huddersfield and Brighton and Hove, absolute nightmare to handicap. We're showing a little bit of utility with Huddersfield on our model. The thought was I don't think there's going to be a lot of goals in this game. Their attack scores are awful, 53 and 61. And if you look at the models, and this is kind of why I shied away from it. We're 6% better with Huddersfield. G6 doesn't like. They actually like Brighton and Hove. Bing likes Huddersfield. 538. Really no opinion. Devil, Huddersfield a little bit. So, and the public likes Huddersfield. I don't like that. So I did a sort with Spotter Cutter. Our sample size isn't that big, but part of the reason is that because these crappy teams with a combined attack of less than 150, it just doesn't happen that these crappers meet that much from an attack standpoint. So I sorted it by crappy attack score, less than 150, and then the odds, similar to what Huddersfield's odds are, 0.378 from a percentage standpoint. And I think, well, that's pretty damn close. 0.37 is what their odds are at your neighborhood 5 dimes. So, okay, it's good and it's bad. It shows utility on Huddersfield, but it also shows utility on the draw. And the draw has a better ROI. Again, small sample size, but I mean, there's just not a lot of times when these teams meet up. So we're going to go with the draw. It's priced short at 211, but it should hit about 37% of the time. So that gives you value. And it's a coin flip game. Huddersfield, Brighton and Hove draw. Okay, the next game was Tottenham Stoke. Or it is. It's happening in the future. This game was a real bastard to handicap because I looked at it and I thought, okay, there's two things going on. First of all, the draw module, it barely qualifies. It's really on the fringe of that. So you could play the draw. If you look at the collection of models, we have let's try to put this up. There you go. We have a big disparity with Stoke City at 16% with the way the formula is. So I was like, hey, well, let's play Stoke. Maybe play them on the Asian, right? That was my initial inclination. And the more I look at this game, the more it's a bad situation for Stoke. Stoke City has a lot of stuff where they go into a situation like this on the road. They don't cover the spread. They don't have profit on the money line. It's a bad situation. So it's like, well, what do you do with this thing? So the first thing I said is, well, I'm going to make it a coin flip game because I don't like it one bit. So then we did some sorts, and I sorted this, and I got odds for what Tottenham is, and they're about, I think they were minus 311, so minus 331, and then their difference. Very close, and that's why it's kicking out a Stoke City play because they're close in current difference. But if you look when this happens, so we've got, and it's not a huge collection of games. It's pretty rare that this occurs. So 15 games, and I think that the results are really powerful. What happens in these games? So minus 330. Those are the average team odds coming in, which is right exactly where it is. Difference, and this is close. It's like 20 points. It actually kind of favors Tottenham. Okay, so I just got that back. I tried to do a sort, and I just lost every spreadsheet I had. So anyway, we got these 15 games, and you can see the opponent hasn't won any of them. Home team 13 wins, 2 draws, and so as much as the model likes it, I'm gonna exclude it because of that, and I'll kick myself in the ass and go, sample size. If Stoke wins at whatever the hell they're priced at, 1,000 to 1. No, 10 to 1. But I like this over because it gives you a small sample, but they go over 3 goals in 10 of the games. So of the 15, Over 2.5 should be minus 275. I'm going to play that. Again, it's a coin flip game, but that's how we're going to play it. Over 2.5, and the number is minus 183. So we're getting about, I don't know, from minus 183, which would be about 64.5% to 275, which is about 73.5%. Getting about 10% value based on the way I broke it down there. Go with the over in that game. Okay, we're going to go to the Sunday game. Southampton and Arsenal. And Southampton is favored, or they're underdogs rather, home underdogs at 255. Showing a little bit of value on that, but I'm not going to go that way. Let's take a look at collection of models in this game. See if there's anything there. Let's find the collection of models. Okay, so we have about 30%. The price is, the odds are 26%. So we show a little bit of value with Hampton. G6 shows some value with Southampton. Bing likes the other team. They like Arsenal. And 538 is a little bit towards Arsenal. The public loves Arsenal. And so this is one, almost because of that reason, I am going to pass on it. You guys got the podcast. I don't think I pointed this out on the podcast. Leicester's a public play too. We like Newcastle for a personal play. And so that's inside information you guys get as members. But Arsenal's a public play. I'm not going to go to the side on this. I'm not going to even think about this too much because this is a straight minus 170 on the module 3. And I like this. I like this play a lot. Arsenal with a 147 attack score. Southampton almost to average at 96. So they can play offensive soccer as well. Let's take a look at the shots. Now, this is something that most people don't know. Arsenal has the same amount of shots this year as Manchester City. They're hitting about average, so 10.7. So that just shows you Manchester City's, I mean, they have 17 more goals with the same amount of shots. And you can say, well, it's about quality shot Basewinner, and maybe it is. But Arsenal, their attack is I think that they're really doing well over the last 6 games. And we can take a look from a rating standpoint how they've done. And there it is. They're second in the league to City over the season. Southampton close to average. They're number 11, so it's the 2 versus the 11 in attack score. So you could do the average and be like, well, it's like the 6th attack score team. So that's going to go over. You could. But there's really no reason to overthink this one. In my opinion, you've got Southampton. They've got 201 shots. They're on the low end of the regression scale. So they've hit 15 of 201. That should go up for them. And Arsenal's in such good form, they might be able to carry this game themselves with that the offense that they have. And this is one thing that I wanted to point out before we go to the next game. Okay, and this is Arsenal away. And maybe this is one of the reasons why this game isn't priced, the over is not priced that high. So you got team Arsenal, and they've only averaged 1.14 goals OTR. But they've played 7 games. Let's see what they've done. Then we'll take the filter out from this season. And you can see OTR over the last 4 seasons, they've averaged 1.71 goals. The over 2.5 goes over 63% of the time, which is minus 168. And boy, that looks familiar, I think. Close to the minus 170 projection. 2.5 over is minus 118. I'm going to bank that for a personal play. Go with the over 2.5 in the early game. Basewinner's going to be up early this weekend. 5 o'clock. I might not be up on this one until the second half. But we have 2 early games. One on Saturday, one on Sunday. Oh, yeah. So we're going to go Arsenal, Southampton, over 2.5, minus 118. Okay, Liverpool, Everton, the Merseyside Derby. Big game for you guys who like Liverpool and Everton. So what are we going to do with this game? And I'm not going to outthink myself. We'll take a look at let's take a look at the models here. Try to focus on this. Liverpool Everton model. We actually have a little bit of value with the draw and Everton on our model, but we're going to blow our model off on this. It's not that big of a deal. 538 likes Liverpool a little bit. Bing. Yeah, Bing likes the draw. I think it might even be a play on the draw for Bing. Let's see. It just missed being a play for Bing. I think that there's really no reason to outthink yourself on this game. So what we do is on these games, now, if you guys have been listening to the podcast for a while, you know that this between minus 300 and minus 400, home team, good team, we have a current difference at 104. It's a pretty good bet. Let's see what it says. Okay, here's the sort. You've got your units up 10 units. You've got 82 games. You got the team minus 346 average odds, and for this game they are at minus 380, so it's close. There's really no way around this game other than to back Liverpool. What we're going to do, we're going to do the similar thing that we did with Chelsea last week. We're going to risk 0.25 to win 0.067 units. So we're not risking a lot, but to me there's only one way to play these games, and that's the way we're going to play it, Liverpool. So let's go to the fancy game on the card. It is Man United and Manchester City. And I wish I could make like an aggressive play on this game, but I simply can't. United with Pogba is a different team, and who knows what they're going to do. The attack scores are phenomenal. They're showing over like by a long way on the attack scores. Let's see what the collection of models shows to see if there's anything of significance there. We're right on the number from a percentage standpoint, so really no utility there. We have it priced at 30. Man United 30% to win, Manchester City 45% to win, and the draw 25%, which is really close to how the odds makers have priced it. The main difference is this G6 likes Man United at 18%, and 538, a big play. Well, not a big play, but an official play on Man United. And they have them at 34%. So their threshold's a lot less, a 5% threshold. Public likes United. The public is a public play as well. Public likes United and Arsenal. Go figure. So, yeah, I mean, with having said that, it's like some mixed signals from that standpoint. Pogba's out. That's why I'm just like, hey, you know what? There's better games to bet. The Chelsea and Swansea City games are better games to bet. Believe it or don't. But if you guys play this game, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a little play on it. It's a coin flip game, but I'm gonna play it because I want to watch the damn game. And I'm going to play the over. The attack scores are good. 127 for United, 157 for City. If you look at their ratings, City with the best attack score. United, they're malaligned. They're a conservative team, but their attack score is at 118. There's a couple other things that I did like about this game. I didn't like this regression percentage thing. You see, they can the most goals at 17% and 16.5. That's going to regress. That's the bad news. I think the good news, though, is that we have the number one team in shots. They're tied with Arsenal, and we're going to play Arsenal over too. But United, again, I mean, I think they were, fourth in Squawka score. They're actually sixth in Squawka score, but they're also Squawka score scaled, but they're also in shots, raw shots. They're sixth in raw shots too. And but Basewinner, how about shots allowed? Okay, well, for full disclosure, City's at 89 with low shots allowed, and United at 13, so low shots allowed there. But United they've only scored 5% of their shots. So regression, okay, well, that kind of cancels the other side out. To me, it's let's not overthink it. I mean, Mourinho might go in there and park the bus. I don't know. What does that tell you? What does that tell the other team? And he could always say, well, Pogba's hurt, that's why we did it. Maybe he will. I don't know. I just can't. I can't come up with like a strong enough opinion on this game to make it an official play. But I do like the attack scores for both teams, shots on goals for both teams. And I think it's priced fairly affordably, the over 2.5 at minus 116. Our Module 3 says minus 245. So that will be the final play. The only other play that's a personal play, there's no other official plays other than ones on the podcast. The only one other play that's a personal play is Southampton Arsenal over 2.5 minus 118. Everything else is a coin flip. You guys, hope you have a great weekend and keep that NFL going, and we'll turn it around here for these official plays on the EPL. We're getting some bad luck, and that'll regress. And well, I like the car. I like the official plays this weekend. Very excited about them. Okay, guys, good luck, and talk to you midweek, Monday for the midweek podcast, midweek EPL. Got to keep betting all week long.